What's up YouTube? What's going on? Welcome to the first episode of the Cybersecurity Desk Setup series. I hope you're as excited as I am. Before we get into the setups for this episode, you could go submit pictures of your own setup on my website. Please try and follow the template and submit as many pictures as you can. That being said, the first setup we'll look at is my home setup. I've personally come a long way, to be honest. When I first stumbled into CTFs and ethical hacking and all that jazz, I was so eager to see what other people's desk setups look like, because mine was utter trash. I've only ever found a handful of desk setup videos or tours by creators in the cybersecurity space, the John Hammonds, the Satonics, etc. I wish I could find pictures of my setup from back in 2020, but it was utter trash. You could trust me on that one. Anyways, this is where I was just a couple of months ago. December-ish, January, somewhere there. And this is where I am now. My setup is powered by a Dell XPS 15 with 40 gigabytes of RAM, an 11th gen i7 11800H, a 512 M2 PLC NVMe SSD, and an NVIDIA GeForce 3050. My external monitor is a 24-inch Dell P2419, not that fancy. It's 1080p, I have no idea what the refresh rate is, I'm not that much of a gamer, but it's big enough for my current needs. Both my laptop and my monitor sit on arms by a company called MountUp. The arms are cheap, but they surprisingly are good quality. I do recommend them. They're only just $25. The desk is just a cheap countertop from IKEA. The legs are very cheap as well, $5 each. It's wobbly, I hate it, and I plan on replacing it very soon. And because I do plan on changing my desk, the cable management isn't all that great. It's efficient for now, but it's not great. I use the RK Royal Clutch keyboard, which I plan on modding out. It's still stock, but it's good enough for now. And a random mouse I found laying in the house. It's by a company called Artec, I think. For audio, I use headsets, the Powerbeats Pros. They're sufficient for my needs, and I don't think I'm gonna change these anytime soon. With regards to cybersecurity, I am mostly into the red team side of stuff, but I'm slowly transitioning into purple teaming. My main OS is Windows 11, came default with the XPS 15. I use Kali Linux when I'm hacking. I am embarrassed to say that. I use Chrome as my main browser. I know, it's terrible, it's trash, but it is what it is. And lastly, the VPN I use is called iVPN. It's very cheap, affordable, and privacy focused, unlike some of the other shady VPNs. Alright, next up in the episode is Sparsh, also known as Zeus. He started off with a PC setup, which he said he sold, and switched to a laptop setup. The laptop itself he's currently using has a Ryzen 5 3550H, a GTX 1050 Ti, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a 1 terabyte HDD, and he says this is sufficient for all his needs. He definitely does seem to be a fan of offensive security based on that background. He has a bunch of Kali Linux wallpapers, but I think he uses Parrot OS for hacking. I've personally used Parrot before, but then I ended up having trouble with some certain tools like Responder and all that, so I just had to switch back to Kali. He seems to have an XLR mic. I have no idea what it is, but I know it's probably for YouTube because he has his own channel. I'll leave a link in the description below. Okay, lastly but certainly not the least, we have Nathan. Is it Nathan? I'm sorry if I butchered your name, bro. He's 30, he's from Brazil, and he says he's a purple teamer, which is pretty cool. He uses Kali as his main hacking distro, Windows 10 as his daily driver, Firefox as his main browser, and Notion as his note-taking app. I use Notion too, by the way. I think I should keep stats for which note-taking app has the most votes. Looking at this, I personally like the red accents all around the setup. Definitely gives it a bit of life, unlike mine, of course. He has a triple monitor setup, not very symmetrical, but good looking nonetheless. He has a Dell Latitude 5420 with 16 gigabytes of RAM powering the entire setup. Shout out to the Dell Latitude team. The keyboard, which is impressive, is a Lenovo SK8825, and the mouse is the multi-laser ergonomic M0248. What? 284. Yeah, 284. Personally, I love the look of the mousepad and the wrist rest. He says the mousepad and the wrist rest are called the Red Dragon Inferno. For audio, he seems to be a JBL fan, just like I am, He has a JBL Extreme 2, which you could see right there, and he also has a pair of JBL Tune 215s as the headset. You could kind of see a lot of cables on the far end of the desk, but hey, not everyone is into cable management, right? Oh, I also just noticed Darth Vader in the corner there. Overall, it's a very nice setup in my opinion. Thanks for the submission, my guy. That does wrap up the first episode of Cybersecurity Desk Setup. I would like to encourage you once again to submit your setup on my website. It's not really a competition. As long as your setup is yours, you're proud of it, if you submit it, it will be featured on the channel. Apart from that, that's it for me for the day. Until next time, stay out of trouble, don't get hacked. The learning continues. Peace.